Courtship and dating versus hookup culture. I think courtship is super, super important because it establishes really good polarity in the relationship early on. It's super fun and it requires men to step it up instead of being in their feminine energy of receiving. See, if we just go around fucking men so easily or just meet them on Tinder and drive to their house and fuck them without any effort on their part, we've set a tone of the woman being the pursuer, which is the opposite of how it's supposed to be in a polarity relationship. Okay? The guy has to work for the woman, and the woman who's interested is going to show her appreciation, her responsiveness, and her joy. And that is exciting to a man. The man also wants sex. He has testosterone, and basically, the younger he is, the more he's like, I want to fuck everything that walks. As he gets older, he's more discerning. There will be fewer women he wants to fuck. I remember going to having a public meet and greet with a man in his 50s. I said, how many of these women would you want to fuck? Like 90%? And he said, I guess maybe 30%. So he was already more discerning. As men's testosterone goes down or as their experience goes up, they become more discerning. But basically, they want to fuck what walks. They don't have to like our personality or anything. Sex is fun for men. So ladies, do not get upset when men want to fuck you. Because if they didn't try to fuck us, we would friend zone them. And if they just stay in the kissing stage for months, we're going to think they're gay or they're not into us. We want them to pursue us, but it has to be done with some style. Guys, if you're watching, men want to fuck what walks. And women want to fuck if they like what walks. Big difference. But in the dating dance, the guy's frustrated. With that young man I was dating in October, well, I went out on one date with this man in October that I really liked. That 30-year-old man, so sexy. So charming. And basically he told me he had boners all throughout dinner. I mean, we were just texting. He was too quick on the texting. I don't want to go into, well, after he dropped me off, he started texting me and asking me all these sexual questions. And because I liked him, I was responding, but that isn't what I wanted. I was already, red flags were going off. Like, if you want to know all this, why did you drop me off? And why aren't you calling me to ask me this? I learned a lot of things from that, and that's how I came up with my dating checklist. A list of toxic man qualities. And this gentleman, I call him the texter boy because he was more interested in texting me after that date than scheduling another date. So he was a texter boy. A texter boy is a red flag. A real man wants to see you. He's going to make a plan to see you. Now, this young man I dated in January for a month. And that January man was the only man I've ever dated because all the other men in my 8-year single were just one date. And I didn't even kiss any of them except the guy in October. I'm super picky. So, but the man in January, he didn't have a plan. I want a plan. You know, when you make a date with a woman, so this man in January was 25. He was super amazing, consistent, kept things moving forward, wanted to talk about a relationship, came over even when he didn't want to have sex, took me out to eat, paid for me. But the problem was he would come over when he was tired, and I want a guy to come over and have a plan. So, and I want a guy who has his own place. So when you're courting a woman, have a plan. Have a plan. We want to feel your energy. We want your action. We want to be taken. Like, I just want to be in my flow. You know, when I'm around my sons, I walk behind them. I don't want to have to think where I'm going. Like, I want you to lead, think, plan, take action. Otherwise, so the thing in January fizzled out. Like, he just didn't have what I needed to be like, I want to be with this guy. Even though I liked fucking him, I'm not going to date a guy just because he fucks me good. When women pursue men by when women become in our masculine energy by pursuing men, that means meeting them on a dating app and driving over, fucking them right away, which is masculine energy, being quick to fuck, they get lazy. They lean back. Hey, I don't gotta work for this girl. I'm just gonna kick back and let her service me and pay for me and do things for me and come over, just watch movies and fuck her. But that's not the girl he's gonna marry, or if he is, you've set the tone for the relationship for how you want to be treated. That doesn't mean we take advantage of men, but there is a joy and a fun in the courtship. A man enjoys planning and taking action and pursuing the woman. And when I say pursue, that doesn't mean we play hard to get. When a man pursues a woman, the proper response for a woman would be either to say she's not interested, or if she is, to really show joyful appreciation for his efforts. Thank you for opening the door for me. I feel so pampered. And oh my God, this restaurant is amazing. I love the menu and just having such a good time with you. And just really being in the moment. Don't get into all these talks about why you're not going to fuck him or your ex, or, just stay super positive and have fun. If you want to talk about your ex or what's wrong in your life, talk to your girlfriends. Like, you're just getting to know this person. I think courtship is important because it sets the tone for the polarity in a relationship. And the problem in our society is that women have become super masculine and men have become too feminine. If we want to change it, we have to require men to step it up. I usually get kicked off dating apps because I'm a whore. Escort. I don't know how they find out. I don't know if people report me, because a lot of men on dating apps are also looking at the escort ads. So now that I have blurred my face in my ads that I started in December, maybe that won't happen so much. Or I don't know if they do reverse image searches, but I was on the Facebook dating app. I think it's called Hinge. And they didn't kick me off, but it was a very low quality of men. I don't want to date a guy who makes $40,000 a year. I know this Marine I was dating made less than that, but if I'm dating a man in my age, I was looking for a man my age, I'm not going to date a guy who, doesn't work out and who's chubby and who doesn't make a lot of money and who just looks old and worn down. Like, why would I want that? That's what was on there. But I did meet a few men on there. And I'll have to tell you, some of them were super lazy. They just wanted to talk on the phone and not even go out. They just thought I was fun to talk to on the phone. They weren't even talking about sex. They just wanted to talk on the phone. I had one man tell me, because I put in there, I'd like to meet men who want to take me to dinner. That was my first date requirement. I want to go to a nice restaurant because that weeds out the men. Because I like going out to eat, and I was going out to eat a lot. And I don't want to go out with men. I don't want to date men who don't like going out to dinner. I don't. And I mean, I would, but I was just like, I want to meet some men who also like going out to dinner. And I'm screening them. If they don't want to take me out to dinner, I don't really want to be bothered. If they can't afford that, because a man should have enough money, a man at my age should have enough money to go to dinner and go regularly to dinner anyway. And just adding me along wouldn't really set him back financially. And it would be fun because I'm super fun to talk to. I'm super fun. People always have a great time with me. So that was my requirement. I had one gentleman who took me to dinner. I didn't think his job was interesting enough. I thought it was really boring, even though he was super nice. And then when we sat at this table, a big group were seated next to us. I could barely hear him talk. And I said, do you mind if we ask the waiters to move us over there so it's more quiet? Because I can barely hear you talk. I goes, great idea, great idea. So when the waitress came up, he didn't say anything about moving us. I had to ask. That was already, the guy was off the table. Right then, that was done. I like a man who takes charge and takes care of me, orders for me. I don't have to want to take care of us. That's, I didn't like having to be the man in the situation. I don't want someone who's so shy and afraid to talk to the waitress. But he was really nice, and he asked, if I would like to go to a beach walk on a second date. And I couldn't see myself on a beach walk with this guy with the big belly and the boring job who couldn't ask the waitress to move us. I just couldn't see it. I just didn't want to have that big body, big belly walking next to me. I just couldn't. Let me see, I need more light. Hold on a sec. I don't want to complain about these men because they were so sweet to me. I'm just giving you examples of how I, as a woman, would weed out a man for a second date. So this man, I gave him a hug goodbye because he was so kind. Then another gentleman had texted me on the app, messaged me on the app, and he said, well, do you like dinner on the golf course? And I said, sure, that sounds wonderful. Well, I have a house on the golf course. You can come over and I'll cook for you. Like, fuck. Like, I was thinking, fuck you. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, I'm just going to drive to your house? Fuck you. I didn't say that. I said no. No, thanks. No. Lazy. Then one gentleman talked to me on the phone. I ended up talking to him on the phone for 3 hours. It was a Friday night, and I was like having fun talking to him. And I thought he would ask me out, but he didn't. Which is fine. But what struck me in that conversation we had, he said, gosh, if I would have known you were free tonight, I would have had you come over for dinner. I would have had you come over. And I thought, what the fuck is wrong? And these are men in their 50s, professional men. This gentleman had like a wine distributorship or wine company. I'm thinking, come over? I don't even know you. Not that I'm afraid to come over. The point is, he made no effort. Like, I'm just going to come over and go to his place. You got to make some effort to be with me. Pick me up. I'll meet you somewhere, or you can pick me up, take me out. We're a long way from me just coming over, because that's being lazy. That's him being service. And those are examples of feminine energy, which is unattractive in a man. This other gentleman, he was pretty high up in the Navy. He lived in La Jolla somewhere. He was trying to impress me with where he lived. And he wanted to get on a phone call. Well, I was kind of reluctant to get on another phone call after the 3-hour guy. So I said, okay, I'll get on a phone call, but I have a 10-minute limit. I figured, he wants to get to know, I just meet guys. I don't need to get on a phone call. I'll just go out and meet them somewhere. He wants to get on a phone call, fine. I'll be easy to get along with. So at the 15-minute mark, I said, boy, we've kind of gone over 10 minutes. I need to get off the phone. I don't want to violate my boundaries. Oh, no, I don't want you to violate your boundaries either. So he'd been bragging to me about his career and all this. I get off the phone at 5:30. I have dinner. At 8:30, as soon as we get off the phone, he texts me, thanks me for the conversation, which was nice. And he didn't ask me out. But 3 hours later, he texts me again, not to ask me out, but to ask me if I could get on another 10-minute phone call. Like, are these guys stupid? I already said I don't want to be on a phone call. He still hadn't asked me out. So here I'm giving you examples of lazy men. And I don't know if there are women who go for this. I'm not going to go for that. I want to see some effort. And I want to be excited about you. And I can't be excited about you if you're just leaning back, wanting phone calls and wanting me to come over. Like, that's just boring, loser status. Like, bring me some excitement. Bring me some adventure. Come here with a plan. Pick me up. Impress me. In return, I am going to fawn over you, tell you how much I like you, how attractive you are. I love telling men, I love your hairy chest. Oh my God, I love looking at you. You're so handsome. Thank you for opening the door. You know, when they come over, what kind of music do you like? I really like pleasing a man. But so what I'm trying to say is there are some men who will do very little. And if you let them, that's what you'll always get with them. So we have to have standards and we have to have boundaries. Like, this is what I require to go out, you know. I have even heard one man suggest that to test a woman's desire on a first date, the woman should meet him halfway. I think that's very masculine energy. I don't think that a woman with confidence would do that. I think maybe a young woman who's trying to get approval or is desperate would do that. In fact, I have a friend who a Ukrainian woman, she used to just date rich older men when she was in her 20s. And one of her boyfriends said to her, I only date women under 27 because once they hit 27, they don't put up with stuff anymore. They want more. And she said, sure enough, as soon as she turned 27, she started wanting more out of the relationship and demanding more, better treatment, and the relationship had to end. So ladies, do not put up with crumbs. And at the same time, we have to be gracious to men. We have to appreciate men. We have to be sweet and kind to men. And also men really want sex. That's the other thing I want to get to, is that women have a very slow pacing for sex, and we have to be considerate of the man. Just like the man is doing all these things for us and we show him all this appreciation, that isn't always enough. Evan Katz in this video gives this example of, say you had a really great date with a guy and you feel really turned on and you're just turning to him and you're kissing him, and he turns his face away and he says, no, I don't kiss. I'm not like that. I don't kiss so fast. Wow. And so it's very devastating to a man. So you can say things like, oh my God, I really want to kiss you. I just would like to wait for one more date. I can't wait to kiss you. Or kiss him, at least, if you like him. In my case, I didn't kiss any of the guys except the October guy because I just didn't like them. I just didn't feel that way about them. The guy in January, I was fucking him. We were fucking, and I liked it. And I knew I had a rule for myself that I'm only going to have sex in a relationship. But see, he had been a client. I already had sex with him, and I liked sex with him. And also I was very aware, you know, I want to give to a man also, and a man wants sex. So I might be more willing to speed up how soon I will have sex with a man, because it's not all about me. I have to give him something too. And a man craves the softness and the nourishment of a woman. So I think we can't be so selfish in our sexual pacing. The man has to give, but we also have to give. So I think that as women, we have to be really aware of our sexual pacing. If the man is consistent, like this January guy, I had sex with him even though we weren't exclusive because he was consistent, he had integrity, he was congruent, he scheduled dates well in advance on Friday or Saturday night. He came over to see me even when he didn't want to have sex. He paid for me. He took me out. You know, he did everything. And so I was going to have sex with him. I don't want to have sex with men who are fuckboys, who are going to ghost me, who are not going to reply to my texts, that give me some feeling of insecurity and inner anxiety because they're unavailable. And this man gave me all of that. So I sped up what I would have ordinarily done. But ideally, I want to have been to the man's house. I want to have been to his house. And I haven't been to a guy's house in a really long time. Anyway, I just think these courtship things are super interesting. And I don't think that we should be putting that by the wayside, because times change, but what doesn't change is masculine and feminine energy. And I think we all have to find our own comfort zone with, you know, what is the man willing to do to court the woman, and how quick is the woman going to want to have sex with this particular man. But ladies, okay, men, definitely court a woman and see if the woman requires you to court her. If she's easy or fast, you may not want to date this woman. And ladies, have some standards and requirements. Like, these are the things I want to even go out with the man, or these are the things I want before I have sex with a man. Like, I want to be in a relationship before we have intercourse. Whatever it is that you want, just set some standards. But I think if we're, I personally am in a place where, like, if I have sex with a man because he treats me well and he's consistent and I can trust him, that even if we ended, he wouldn't just ghost me, he would still be my friend. I'm willing to take that risk and have sex with him and get my heart broken. But I'm not going to be willing to do it with a guy who's a fuckboy, who's a Netflix and chill guy, who's in a relationship, who's inconsistent, who lies, doesn't keep his word. I'm not willing to take a chance on any of those guys. But if I have sex with a guy and it ends, that's just called life. I'm willing to take that chance. But I'm not willing to take a chance on a fuckboy. You know what a fuckboy is? He has nothing to offer but his dick and his cum. And he can go pay for that. In fact, I don't think a fuckboy would ever make his way into an appointment because they're just selfish. As men get older, they become a little bit more considerate of the woman. They start to figure out that women can get attached through sex. Men do not get attached through sex. They have sex because it's fun, even with women they don't like. We have to understand the differences between men and women. So I want to know that a man likes me before I have sex with him. That's all I've got, you guys. I'm 59. But I have the same experiences as most of my friends are younger, like in their 20s and 30s. They're having the same disappointments with men. The problem has become that men are afraid to ask women out because they've taken the Me Too movement, which was designed for the office, into their personal lives. Leave that shit at work. You're supposed to pursue a woman and show your desire for a woman, not in a needy way, but in a giving way. And you're supposed to court women. That's what we want. We want your strength. We want your dominance. We want your action. We want your plan. We want your focus. We want your attention. We want your direction. And men want our appreciation, our joy, our radiance, our softness. And I think we have to give that to them and appreciate what they do. Yeah, so guys, if you're watching this, I really recommend that you stop approaching women on social media and start talking to them in real life. Just start talking to them in real life. There were some guys I watched on YouTube a while back. I don't remember their names now, but they live in Europe, I think in the Ukraine, Russia area. And they teach men how to cold approach women. Cold approach women. When I saw this years ago, I always just thought it was the best idea ever. Because that stuff really works and it takes courage. Don't ask a woman out sliding into her social media. That's for cowards. I'm sorry. That's for cowards. I would never go out with a man who texted me to take me out. There's no way. You have to meet me in person. Book an appointment, meet me somewhere. But hey, I have nothing going on. So I just think that people aren't asking people out. And dating apps, especially as people get older, have more and more losers on them. I'm sorry to call people losers, but emotionally unavailable or avoidant or some kind of issues like these men I met. Like on that Hinge app, Match.com kicked me off after 3 days. They wouldn't tell me why. They gave me my money back. I think it's because they found out I'm an escort. And they have a general rule that escorts can't be on those apps because they don't want women soliciting men for money on there, which is not what I was going to do, but they don't know that. So they just have that general rule. I think it's better to meet people in real life because on a dating app, all we can evaluate people on are based on some objectives like their height or their looks or their money or their religion. And I want to feel people's energy, you know. I don't want to evaluate someone based on just numbers and words. And Evan Katz makes a really good point that the woman he married, he and she had been on Match.com for years together, but they never met because they had totally different criteria. He was looking for a woman 5 to 10 years younger, and his wife is 3 years older. He's she was she she wanted a Christian man or something, and he's Jewish and atheist, so that was off, and some other things. But they actually met at a party and hit it off, and they just kept getting along, and things were so easy with her, and life is still so easy with her, and they're married, they have a couple kids. So he makes a big point about not being so picky, or going outside of what you think your range is, and that women have so many criteria. You know, over 6 foot, well, that's 5% of men. Makes over 100,000 a year, that's only 3% of men. Has a master's degree or more, that's 3% of men. And when you combine all the things that women want, you end up with 0.0000001% of men. Which is like asking for too much. So we have to change some of these external requirements, and he recommends, and so does John Gray, that women just date men that are more interested in us than we are in them, that we date a whole bunch of men and see how we feel around them, let them court us, let them take us out, show our appreciation, see how we feel around them, and then see maybe if one will lead to a relationship. That's one way to do it. Yeah, but courtship is definitely important. Having standards, having requirements, and starting a relationship with the proper polarity of the man being masculine and the woman being feminine. I think that's super important, and it's super fun. But I don't believe in stringing a man along for sex, making sex conditional, or Evan Katz talks about giving the guy a blowjob. I would not give a guy a blowjob if I was getting nothing out of it. I would just feel used. I wouldn't do that. I would kiss him. I would want him to go down on me first and see if he can make me come. I want to see that the guy can please me before I please him. That's what I want to see. I'm not going to give a blowjob to a guy who's not going to go down on me. Some men don't go down on women, or they're not good at it, or it's not their thing. So before I give a man a blowjob, I think that's another thing of masculine energy. I fucked women. I've been with lesbians. The masculine gets turned on turning on the woman. They want that release, but a real man gets turned on turning on the woman, and he wants the woman to come before he comes. So if you're with a guy who's trying to come first, or is taking his pants off on the first date, or wants you to suck his dick on the first date, or you start sucking his dick, I don't think that's a good idea. I think the man should show that he's attentive sexually before he gets his. I think the man should make the woman come first in most sexual encounters. That's what I think. So I would not just give a guy a blowjob like that. I think he has to earn that. Otherwise, I would just feel used. And if a man went down on a woman and he didn't come, I don't know if he would feel used. He might feel frustrated. I'm not sure. Oh my goodness, it's getting dark. Pretty soon I'm going to be looking like this, so I think it's time to end this video. But I would love to hear your comments and what you think about courtship, and if courtship still exists, or if people are just like being so casual, like come over, let's watch a movie and fuck. And if those things ever turn into a relationship, and what kind of relationship those are. By the way, I did make, between the bathrobe video I did and this one, I made black bean soup, I made a salad, I made orange juice, I meditated. No, I'd already meditated before. I made all the toppings for the black bean soup, and I was going to make some apple juice, but And I filmed some of it because I'm trying to queue up some videos. I have to make content for Twitter, Instagram, just for fans. Um, that's that's my money, you know. I have to. Um, and some days I want to more than I do on other days, you know, but I have to give my subscribers content. That's what they paid for. And anyway, so I did some like nude cooking in the kitchen, nude. I have a really nice body. I hope you guys will also, you know, you can hire me for coaching. You can hire me as an escort. You can I can't say that YouTube will ban me. Scratch that. Don't I have links below. You can hire me as a coach. You can go on my porn page. You can read my book What I Did for Sex or the Fuck List. You can watch my videos. You can leave comments. You can email me. Um, yeah, that's it. And you can court me to date me. Or tell me what's wrong with me. Why I haven't met anyone. Oh, it's so peaceful right now. It's so beautiful. I love living here with all these trees. I have I love trees. I live just a few minutes from the ocean, but I don't like the ocean. It's okay to go running on the sand barefoot, but I love forests and trees, and I live in my apartment complex. I have so many large trees, and it's one reason I've lived here so long. I like my apartment, and I love the trees, and it's quiet. I'm away from the parking lot, and I don't. No one can look in my windows because I'm on the hill going down. There are no windows, and it's private and it's quiet. And when I do hear my neighbors, they're laughing. Like I feel very fortunate. I feel very fortunate, and that's why I think being a sex worker is good. I'm supported by the universe. Everything that I'm doing now, I feel I'm supported by the universe because everything's just flowing, you know, in my life. Yeah. Good night.